Right. So have you ever thought about why it's seemingly so easy for some people to sell info products? We're looking at guys like TGR, we're looking at guys like Brez Scales, William Brown, etc., etc. And you're seeing their content, you're seeing the different funnel breakdowns which people are making on YouTube. And they're speaking about TGR is doing 1 million a month, Brez Scales is doing 1 million a month, XYZ person is doing 1 million a month, or whoever the person that they're going through is. And you kind of just think to yourself, like, how are they actually doing it? And that's what we're going to be speaking about in this video. And it's actually really simple. All you need to do is get traffic, educate the audience. The audience needs to opt in into the funnel, schedule a call with the closer. The closer needs to close them on the call, and then you need to deliver the service. No, 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 no. You're not understanding me. How do they actually do it? Because this, what I showed you above right here, is what everybody on YouTube convinces you to do. And they tell you this is all you need to actually scale to 50K a month, 100K a month, 500K a month, even up to $1 million per month. And let's just be real with each other for a second. Like, you're simply not. Because if it was as easy as just doing that, well, everybody would be doing it, right? And everybody would be doing 1 million a month, 500,000 a month, or however much they want to be doing per month. It would be really easy for everybody. But for the guys that we're going through here, it's almost like they had a blueprint laid out right in front of them. It's almost like they knew exactly what they had to do to hit the revenue targets, which they had to do the numbers, which they wanted to do. Well, what if I told you that you have this exact blueprint right in front of you? And it's the exact same blueprint that all of these big online creators are using as well. And it's simply legally stealing other creators' ideas. And I know this sounds super simple, but there's more to it. And there's a way to do it properly. And there's a way to, not do it properly and get called out and have people talking shit about you all over the internet. And for the people, let me just pre-handle this objection, that are like, oh, I don't want to copy the competition. I don't want to copy my competitors because people are going to call me out, whatever it is. Every single big person in info who actually makes money does this, because if you steal like an artist, nobody's going to care and you're going to make more money inside of your coaching business. And on top of that, if you don't do this, you're going to get left behind the competition. And the competition is going to get more and more sophisticated every single day, and your coaching business will slowly but surely die. So let's jump into exactly how you can steal like an artist to make coaching offers and funnels that work every single time. But before we get into it, just so that you guys know that I know what I'm talking about, I'm the CEO of the Info Accelerator, where we've helped over 100 coaches scale their coaching businesses. We're actively doing between 500,000 and 1 million a month for our clients. And on top of that, to prove that scaling coaching businesses wasn't luck, I opened this YouTube channel right here, which is sitting at around 4,000 subscribers right now, scaled a business on the back of that YouTube channel to $58,000 a month, a coaching business with 50,000 in profit. So let's dive straight into it. So what is step number one of this entire process? Well, step number one would be identifying your target audience. And it's essentially figuring out what the people are inside of your niche and why people watch. So what you need to do here is you need to find 2 to 3 creators who own a successful info product and have a well-established brand. And then you want to see exactly what they're doing from A to Z and try and steal that infrastructure, steal the ideas and make them your own. But this is exactly where most people mess up, because you don't need to watch a YouTube video for somebody to tell you this. But if you implement it in the wrong way, with the wrong beliefs, with the wrong brandings, or even mess up any of the steps that we're going to be going through inside of this video, it's simply not going to work and you're not going to be profitable. So this part is absolutely crucial when you're trying to steal somebody's audience. So we're going to start with the easy stuff and then we're going to work our way up from there. So starting with the easy stuff, like obviously if you're, let's say, for example, a micro niche influencer with 10,000 subscribers, if you go to somebody, let's say an industry leader within your niche, and they have 250,000 followers, they're a famous influencer, they have a completely different position, and you try stealing from them, it's simply not going to work. You're not going to make any money. What you want to do instead is you need to steal like an artist. You want to go to somebody who's in a similar position like you, and maybe even a little bit better than you. And let's say, for example, if you're at 10,000 followers, you want to steal from somebody who has 15,000 followers in a micro niche influencer just like you, and they're in a similar position, or This works vice versa. If you're somebody with 250,000 followers, you want to steal from somebody who has, say, 500,000 followers. So this works like this, but you need to be stealing from people in a way where it actually makes sense for your audience too. You don't need to completely switch up your existing angle, your existing messaging, and etc. And if you do decide to replicate somebody who's kind of like the biggest in the niche, you're rarely going to have any success because the prospects which you're going to have are going to already know that you're copying them. They're going to know that you're copying the funnel. They're going to know that you're copying the messaging. Plus, they probably use completely different messaging to what you actually need. What you need is to create a brand around you and not somebody else. And that's why I'm making this video, so that you can strategically and profitably steal from other people, because you need to learn how to brand your personal brand. So step number one, the easy stuff, we work our way up, is the color schemes. So as humans, we process the world through our eyes long before we process logic or language, right? We need to make sure that we're actually picking the right colors, and we associate these colors with emotions, feelings, and all of these other important things. If you think of something like purple, who is the first person that you would have thought of 1 to 2 years ago? Alex Ramosi. Of course, it was Alex Ramosi because it was all over his social media pages. You need to create a color palette of 3 to 4 colors that go well together. Create some type of emotion in the prospect, and then they can go from not knowing or just seeing a random color to seeing a color, seeing a font, and that actually identify or they think of your personal brand as they think of that. And this is the exact same thing for the fonts as well. You need to find fonts which are simple and clear, modern, and match your brand and personality. But you need to remember, these are the fonts that are going to be displayed all over your content, landing pages, copy, Instagram stories, etc., etc. But if you create consistent branding, it's going to do wonders for you, because this is a small thing. This is a small thing out of this entire process. And there's a bunch of small things that we're going to be speaking inside of this video. And if you're going to be the person who's going to be like, oh, it's just a color scheme, it's just a personality, it's just a story that I'm telling them, it's only going to improve sales by 5%, you'd be right. But if you stack all of these things together, if over time you're building and building, and every single day you're trying to become better through these different things that we're going to be speaking about inside of this video, you're going to become, or you're going to scale your coaching business a lot faster than anybody else would, who's just putting all of their focus into one thing that matters and getting linear growth, versus us who's putting in the work now, making sure that these details are perfect and achieving exponential growth through our personal brand. So in terms of personality, this is already a lot more important. People can immediately tell if you're reading off a script or you're just being yourself, and they're going to click off. Let's just take TGR as an example, because he's kind of blowing up right now and a lot of you know him. So the guy will literally say anything that he thinks about, and he doesn't really care, right? But on a real note, like, you can tell that like he's very different to everybody else. He's not being a bot, and people connect with people, right? People don't connect with AI, they connect with other people. And when they see somebody as real as TGR who just says what's on his mind and everybody knows that, real recognizes real. Do you know what I mean? And people connect with people, like I was saying before. So not the actual copy of the things that they're saying in the videos. And that's why the streamers, the biggest streamers in the world, people love them so much and people watch them for hours and hours on end, because they have the ability to keep the attention of the audience because of their personality and them just being real inside of the content. And that goes to your story. All of these things come together, right? When you have your personality laid down, people need to understand who you are, and everybody's journey is going to be different. And that's how you know how credible and trustworthy that somebody actually is. So who would you rather listen to about selling a digital product online? Would it be Alex Ramosi, who's the owner of acquisition.com, multi-million-dollar valuation, sold gym business for $46.2 million, author of $100 million offers, which is the best-selling book in the world, had a $100 million book launch, been in the space for over 20 years, or some random guy with 2,000 followers, sold 20 digital products online, owner of Money Millionaire, which has 5 course sales, and been in the space for like 1 or 2 years, right? Even if this is you right here, if you're able to formulate your story in a way where it makes you seem like your authority is a lot higher than it actually is, you're going to make more sales. But at the end of the day, if you're not doing this and people can just see through everything that you're saying, it's not going to work. Going back to Hormozy, right? It's always going to be Hormozy every single day of the week. And that's why we need to tell your story multiple times in the content and tell stories about how you came across a certain type of mechanism or information, why that's going to make you seem more credible. And then you can transition that in, okay, I came across this. This is how I learned about it. You say it 5 times, 10 times, they listen to that, they eventually book a sales call, and they're going to be so much more nurtured before the call versus, not going through that entire process. But you need to make money, not just make a fancy personal brand, because everything that we went through here, it's not going to make you any money unless you monetize it in the right way. And the goal is to add 30 to 50K a month to your coaching business through videos like this. I'm trying to make the best videos on YouTube when it comes to educating people around info. And that stuff's not actually going to move the needle for you. But by far the fastest way to do it is using that information and then strategically stealing the funnel, stealing the offers, stealing all of the stuff that's actually going to make you money. So let's just go to Russell Brunson's concept. I've gone through all of his books, and this is kind of like a summary of what he does in terms of copying people. So let's say, for example, we find somebody on a funnel breakdown on YouTube. We can properly steal somebody's funnel. We can go through the video, but if you do it yourself, it's going to be even better. So let's say, for example, Brez. Brez probably isn't your competitor, but let's just use him as an example of a competitor. So let's say the funnel in a nutshell. Every single funnel is set up in the same way. We have the traffic sources. We have the nurturing mechanism with the micro niche YouTube channel, the opt-in to emails, the conversion mechanism with the VSL and the application form, and then we have the sales process where cash is actually generated. This is what every single funnel looks like. And you want to go through each part of the process and figure out exactly what they're doing. What are they doing when it comes to actually getting traffic? What are they doing when it comes to actually nurturing the leads? What are they doing when it comes to the converting the leads? What are they doing when it comes to the sales process? You need to act like Brez or whoever you're trying to copy, whoever you're trying to break down, and you need to go through the entire customer journey and see what grabs your attention and see what hooks you into the next step. You need to go through awareness. What are they doing on the awareness side? Consideration, middle of funnel, bottom of funnel content, opt-ins, emails, etc. And what are they doing on the conversion side? Do they have a video sales letter? Do they have a free group they're trying to reel you into? Do they have a sales process to actually convert you into money? What are they actually doing to do this? And this is the easiest way you can reverse engineer somebody's success and kind of replicate it for yourself. So now you've kind of gone through their stuff. You kind of have an idea for what you're doing and what they're doing, but what specifically do you copy? What parts should you really be looking out for when you're trying to copy somebody? Well, on the awareness side, you need to be looking out for hooks and scripts, different content loops. Are they opening a loop? Are they closing a loop inside of the content? This would be, for example, if I'm telling you, later down below, we're going to be speaking about offers or whatever it is to encourage viewers to keep watching. Video editing, graphics, how are they doing it? What kind of titles and thumbnails are they doing? What kind of call to actions are they doing? In terms of consideration, what's their content strategy? What different free trainings do they have? Email and SMS are they doing? Bottom of funnel videos are they making? Lead magnets are they making, etc.? And what kind of offers do they actually have? Is it an upsell, downsell? Do they have a sales call script, or what is their sales call script? What are their follow-ups inside of the videos? What are the different touch points within the videos? What's the onboarding process when people actually do join the program? The more you find out, the better. And I'm not saying copy them step by step, but you need to do it in a unique way and create a brand that's redundant and people actually love. So you and I both know that you and I both see the exact same pine tree, but from a different angle, right? So let's take, for example, fitness coaches. There's going to be thousands of people speaking about the exact same thing, taking the same exact approach. It could be, for example, speaking about how to get abs, and they're literally just going to say, here's how you can build abs in X time frame. And then you have to take the angle that nobody else is taking and do it in a unique way. And people will flock to you because they finally see something different and they're seeing it from a different angle, even though you're speaking about the exact same thing at the end of the day. And this is how you actually create your own spin onto your content that you quote unquote stole. And the last step of the process is not spending days doing this, because at the end of the day, this isn't going to be the biggest needle mover within your business. The biggest needle mover is going to be creating more content for your business. So you need to automate this with AI, especially when you're starting out. And AI is probably going to be even better than you are right now because of how advanced AI is gotten. So it's the exact same sales process that I used for these people above. For example, one of the guys that I worked with in the past, we scaled from 25 to 88K a month in 30 days, posting micro niche YouTube videos just like this one, right? Just one example. There's so many other examples and case studies that I go through on my channel. But we did this for him too. We built his funnel using Claude, and I'm going to tell you exactly how we did it and how that actually converted from 25K a month to 88K a month in 30 days. So inside of his Claude settings, the first thing that we had to do was activate research mode, activate web search mode, and activate extended thinking. And then from there, we put these exact prompts in to actually make money from the offer. So in terms of market research, we literally just said, I want you to do some market research for me. I'm selling product description, and I want you to find all of the possible customer avatars for my product and explain how my product will help them reach their desired solution. For the VSL scripts, pretend to be the greatest direct copywriter ever. You have over $100 million in sales directly from your copywriting ability. You have memorized the book Breakthrough Advertising, and have studied Eugene Schwartz, Joe Sugarman, David Ogilvy, and Cloudy Hopkins. And then there's this prompt right here. I don't want to go through the entire thing because that's going to take too long. And then the sales page copy. Pretend to be the greatest direct response copywriter ever. You have over $100 million in sales directly from your copywriting ability. You have memorized the book Breakthrough Advertising, same stuff that we went through before. And then there's a specific prompt which you guys can copy from here. But it's fairly simple. The way you want to break it down is you want to break down your initial market research that you're doing through AI, asking AI different questions. Then you're also going to ask yourself questions. You're going to go through the market yourself, and then you're going to directly look at your competitors and see exactly what they're doing inside of their content, and then try and implement that into your advertising. And then obviously, in terms of the video sales letter, we're going to use all of that market research, package that in to a video sales letter. That's something that I'm going to be speaking about inside of a future video. And then in terms of the actual sales page that they're doing it on, you can do this all based on the market research. But all of the marketing you do, all of the VSLs you write, all of the market research, or all of the content that you create, it's all going to come down to the market research. How well do you actually know your market? That's what's going to correlate to the amount of money that you make from your offer. So that's everything from this video. If you have any questions about any of the concepts that I spoke about, you can just message me directly on Instagram. And if you want help implementing this entire process for yourself, you want my help building out a micro niche YouTube channel just like this one to sell an info product between 3 and 8K, then you can book a call directly with me. First link in the description. You just go into the first link in the description, you'll see my calendar, and you'll be able to book in a time slot with me to actually schedule a call where we can speak further about adding 20 to 50K per month to your coaching business by implementing a micro niche YouTube ecosystem. So that's everything from me. Have a good one. Bye.